Hi everyone, we're going to be talking about the 26 books that I want to read in 2026, and these books aren't books that I really mentioned before ever on my channel. Like, it wasn't really part of my TBRs. Enough of me talking, we're just gonna get started. I'm gonna be inserting the pictures on the screen instead of grabbing the physical book because I'm actually gonna be reorganizing my books after this video. So the first book that I want to read in 2026 is Mate. This is the second book of Bride Duology by Ali Hazelwood. It is interconnected. I don't know if you have to read Bride in order to read Mate. However, I did read Bride and I enjoyed it a lot. I think I gave it a 4.5 stars. I'm really looking forward to Mate because I've heard a lot of good things about it. And my friend, I think she preferred Mate over Bride. The next book I want to read is The Crash by Frida McFadden. I love Frida McFadden books. Her thriller books or psychological thriller books are really easy to read, really fun to read, really fast paced. They always get me out of a reading slump, no matter what. I've heard 50-50 about The Crash. A lot of people liked it, a lot of people don't, but then again, reading is subjective. Third book is also by Frida McFadden and it is called The Locked Door. I've heard a lot of good things about The Locked Door and I am really excited about it. Frida McFadden is not for everyone. A lot of people don't really like her writing. A lot of people say it's not well written. Honestly, I am here for the vibes. I am here for it to get me out of a reading slump. It keeps me on my toes. It's a fun read. I don't know if you've seen this debate going over TikTok about this girl saying like how anti-intellectuals are on book talk, this and that, and it's just a huge rabbit hole. So the next book, it is The Boyfriend, which I've also heard 50-50 about. A lot of people didn't like it, a lot of people do. So Frida McFadden books is always a hit or miss for most people. Personally, for me, I really enjoyed her books, the ones I've read so far. I've never really had an issue with like not really liking her book. I would say out of all the ones I read so far, the only one I really don't like as much is The Tenant, but my favorite is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I don't know, it's just something about that book. It's still stuck with me. Okay. The next book is also a Frida McFadden book, but I've heard great things about this one, and it's called The Teacher. I know from videos I've seen, a lot of people really like The Teacher, Never Lie, and The Housemaid, which I read Housemaid last month, which I really enjoyed. The sixth book is a comic. It is the omnibus actually, and it's the Wonder Woman omnibus. I had it for a while now, and I finished the Catwoman omnibus not too long ago, so I think it's time for me to move on to my next big omnibus, and I am choosing Wonder Woman because I want to get into Wonder Woman more, and I think it will make me enjoy her character more. I really enjoy Absolute Wonder Woman. I personally enjoy Absolute Wonder Woman more than regular Wonder Woman. I heard a lot of good things about it because this is by Gail Simone. The seventh book is Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I actually have not read a single Emily Henry book, and I think it is time. I have all her books, and just for some reason I cannot get into it, but this is my year. I think the only reason why is because I haven't really been enough romance mood. I've been in more of a fantasy, romantic-y, dark romance mood more than like a giggly, fluffy romance. I think I need that in my life right now. So I feel like Book Lovers would be perfect. Eighth is People We Meet on Vacation, and I actually do want to read this soon so I can watch the movie. I think it's on Netflix that just came out. I feel like her reads are a really easy read. And then ninth, I have Happy Place, which I actually tried to start last year, but I just couldn't get into it because it was just not the right time. I was in such a bad place. 10th, we have Beach Read, and then I did try to read this one as well while I was on the beach. Just couldn't get to it. 11th is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, which I also heard a lot of mixed reviews about. A lot of people did not enjoy this book compared to her other book, and so we'll see where that takes me, because one, I've never read any Emily Henry books, so I don't even know if her writing is for me, but I will complete the books that I have. 12th is Funny Story by Emily Henry again, and that's actually the last book that I have from her on here, I think. Honestly, most of the books, I don't remember what they're about. I'm kind of going into it blind. 13, we have The Favorites, and I don't remember the author's name, but I know this is a fiction book or a contemporary fiction, something like that. I am not a big fiction reader. I'm trying to get back into fiction reading, and also I'm trying to get into like historical reading. I'm trying to get into historical fantasy, just anything historical really, and I'm also trying to get into anything contemporary fiction. It's kind of hard for me to get into, but eventually I will get into it. That is my goal for this year. I will fall in love with these two genres or subgenres, and so I feel like The Favorites is a good choice just because I've heard a lot of good things about The Favorites. Number 14 is The Surrogate Mother, which is by Frida McFadden as well. I heard good things about that, so I have to read it. 15th is My Friends by Frederick Backman, which I am actually going to be reading Beartown soon, or listening to the audiobook. I did try to start Beartown last year. I just really couldn't get into it just because it's also contemporary fiction. I just don't know. And also it was sports, so I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I can do this, because I'm also slowly getting to sports like genres. I was like, I don't think starting off with a contemporary sport fiction is the best choice to get into sports and also contemporary fiction. So I was like, you know, at first I was like, maybe combining two things that I am trying to get into will help. No, it does not. So the best choice is for me to read a sports romance and then a contemporary fiction, and then eventually combining the two together. So hopefully after I read Beartown, I will be able to read My Friends by Frederick Backman, because I also heard he's an amazing author. Honestly, the parts that I've read so far with Beartown, I do really enjoy it. It's just I just couldn't be consistent in reading it, and it took me at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks to finish a chapter. Okay, so that's why I was like, you know, I'm a temporary DNF this and go back to it. Yes, so I have two systems. I have a DNF system and a temporary DNF system. A DNF system is like just me DNF the book. Like I actually did not like it or some other reason. Temporary DNF is because I'm not in the mood for it, and I'll eventually go back to it. 16, and it's Anxious People by Frederick Backman. I also heard good things about this book. I also heard a lot of good things about this book, so I am looking forward to it. 17, we have Leave Me Behind by KM. And this is a dark romance, and I was actually supposed to start it last year. I didn't get around to it. 18, we have Tender is the Flesh, and I don't remember the author, but I know this is a horror book. I try to not buy horror books because, one, I get scared when I read them, but two, I love horror genre. I love horror movies. I love hearing horror stories. I'm not a big fan of watching and reading them often just because I get scared very, very, very easily. Okay, do I have 2 horror books in my room at the moment? Yes, actual horror books, not like psychological horror, like that stuff, like just general horror books. I do have 2 of them in my room. Have I read them yet? No. I've heard about it for the longest time now, and I always want to read it, but I've always been scared to pick it up because I'm so scared. I don't want to read it because I won't be able to sleep. Even though I read it during the daytime, it's just stuck in my head throughout the day. Luckily, I have aphantasia, so I can't imagine things, but I don't know what's worse, like not being able to imagine the things I'm scared of, or just having it stuck in my brain all day long, and not being able to sleep just because I think something's gonna happen. I was actually not gonna pick this book up when I was at Barnes & Noble's with my boyfriend, but then I was telling my boyfriend, I was like, oh my god, Tender is the Flesh, I heard it's an amazing book. And an employee walked by and she goes, that is an amazing book, you should get it. Now, did I have to listen to her? No. But did I do it? Yes. So I picked it up and I bought it because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I've heard too many good things about it and I have to do it. When am I gonna read it? I don't know yet because I'm kind of scared. Might save it for the end of this year, towards Halloween time maybe. Or I might read it when my boyfriend's here, so at least I have someone with me. You know what I mean? Or when I'm with my boyfriend. Number 19, we have Soul Searching. Okay, this is by Lila Sage, and I actually picked this up last year and I was so excited for it. I was so excited for it. It's a paranormal romance, but during that time I just could not finish the book. I could not get into it. I did like the chapters I've read so far, and I don't know, maybe I read it during the wrong time and then I was not in the mood for a paranormal romance, so I did temporarily DNF it, but my goal is to actually read it this year and finish it, so I have that. Number 20, we have The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros, and I actually tried to start this last year, did not like it. I read the first page and I was like, yeah, not for me right now. Like, no, I like her books, but like I didn't want to read it at that time. That's what I meant. 21, which is Normal People, and I believe this is by Sally, and I'm really scared to read it. I just heard a lot of things about it, and it's kind of like one of those books where like you're terrified to read it, but it's really good. 22, we have Alchemized by Senlin Yu. I was supposed to read this last year, attempted to read the first chapter. No, I read the first chapter. Got to chapter 2. This is such a big book. I cannot do this at the moment because it is a huge book. I believe it's more than 600 pages, closer to 1,000, I believe. So I was like, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to read it again another time. Actually, last night I decided, I was like, this is the year I'm going to reacclimatize. And I know I'm going to love it, but I'm just terrified to read it. Yeah. I've heard a lot of people read it differently. Like, people just read it straight through part 1, 2, and 3, like straight through. But then I've seen people read part 1, then part 2, then go back to part 1 before they read part 3, because apparently it makes sense to them, and like you kind of forgot what happened in part 1. So after you finish part 2, you go to part 1, and then you kind of like, oh my god, that's why this happened, this and that, and then you jump to part 3. It just kind of makes sense. That's what I've heard. I don't know which way I'm gonna do. Personally, I feel like I'm gonna do the whole read through, and then maybe do a reread of part 1, part 2, and then part 1, then part 3. That's what I was thinking, but I'm not quite sure yet. But I know a lot of people rated this book a 5 to 6 stars. A lot of people assume it's like the dark romantasy books that we read. The thing is, it is not a romantasy. It is a dark fantasy. A lot of people who read it kind of related to the world that we're in today. I don't really make posts about where I stand, but I do reshare a lot. I don't support what is happening to the people who are living here. I don't support fake law enforcement coming and arresting people and doing things that they shouldn't be doing because it's inhumane. I'm gonna move on for now because I do not want to start crying, because every time I start talking about this topic, I start crying because, one, it is scary. 23, we have Wuthering Heights, and I actually do want to watch the movie, so that is why I want to read the book first before I read the movie. Watch the movie. Girl, it's a classic. Okay, who does not like a classic? Number 24, we have Salem's Lot, which is by Stephen King, and this is a like Dracula retell. And the reason why I want to read this is, one, I am on a vampire kick. I literally have been obsessed with vampires. Last year during like October, November, I think, I watched Twilight for the first time with my friends. And then after that, I decided to start the Vampire Diaries because one of my friends loves the Vampire Diaries. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to surprise her. I'm going to start watching it. And I start watching it, and she's like so happy that I am. I'm currently on season 4, I think, or season 5. I don't remember. And then I'm just on a huge vampire kick that I just want to read everything vampire and watch everything vampire. So after I finish the Vampire Diaries, I might start True Blood. I think that's what it's called. And then also I want to read some DC vampire books that my boyfriend recommended. On top of that, obviously I want to read Salem's Lot, and I want to read Dracula because Dracula is the classic, which I have not read before. So I think I'm going to read Dracula first before I read Salem's Lot, but Dracula's not on this list though. And then number 25, we have Criminal Sanity, which is a DC comic, and it is, I believe it is about Harley Quinn and the Joker, and it's a psychological comic, which the reason why I bought this is because of the field I'm going into. I'm currently majoring in forensic psychology masters. I told my boyfriend, I was like, I want more psychological comics, which honestly most comics are psychological, but like I want that's like dedicated for psychology, true crime, this and that. So Criminal Sanity looked like it fit perfectly for what I was looking for. And then the last book on my list of 26 books that I want to read, it is The Maidens by Alex M. And if you guys have not read The Silent Patient by him, go do so now, because that is the best psychological thriller book I have read ever. And one, is so well written. Two, the plot really gets you, and you don't even expect the twists and turns that happens in that book. So like The Silent Patient is just so well written. Like when I tell you it's well written, I mean like even my professor recommended this book, And on top of that, even the students in my class who aren't readers are readers. We talked about this book because it is that good. So go read The Silent Patient by Alex M. if you love psychological thrillers. I didn't know that he had another book called The Maidens, so I'm really looking forward to that. I believe it's also a psychological thriller. Yeah, so those are the 26 books that I want to read in 2026. So let me know what is on your 2026 reading list, and I'll see you next time. Bye!